artists take years to build a dedicated fan base to pursue their music career. But this 17-year-old girl did it with just her first song entirely on accident, and her name is Beabadoobee.
When it's a sunny day, I'll keep you posted, I promise I'm better with this.
Beatrice, aka Beabadoobee, is a Filipino singer and songwriter. Despite being born in the Philippines, her family would move to London when she was just 3 years old. By age 5, she was already playing the violin and would continue playing for the next 7 years. At age 7, her love for songwriting grew. She would often write songs for her classmates to perform the school show and tells because she was too nervous to perform them herself. Despite only being in first grade, she would start to write about anything going on in her life as a way to be entertained and happy. When Beatrice turned age 12, she lost the love of playing the violin. But when she got into high school, her father bought her a guitar and she began to learn how to play from YouTube tutorials and learning from her peers. She learned that singing with a guitar by her side sounded better than on her own or with a violin.
From the glue, don't forget to kiss me. If I'm being honest, I need a man and you know yourself the best.
With that being said, she made her first song called Coffee under the name Beabadoobee.
Don't stay awake for too long.
At the time, she was treating her music as a joke, but honestly, I think she's always wanted to do music but was too afraid of what her classmates thought of it, and that's why she acted like it wasn't in her interest. With the release of Coffee, it didn't take long for it to gain traction. It seemed as she actually blew up and became a musician off her first song. Even the artist Powfu decided to make a remix off the vocals that created another viral song, Deathbed.
I don't wanna fall asleep, I don't wanna pass away. I've been thinking of
Bea went on to say that her first song, Coffee, wasn't anything special. A song with a few chords and with just basic songwriting compared to what she's been working on for all these years. So she didn't expect the overall attention her music was getting. And all of a sudden, she's thrown in the mainstream with a fan base and multiple label offers. So with the new exposure, she decided to keep her name Beabadoobee and continue her music career while still being in high school. She was a rising musician at the age of 17. She would have performances and studio sessions, then go to school the very next day.
Don't stay awake for too long, don't go to bed. I'll make a cup of coffee for your head. I'll get you up and going out of bed.
Bea's early music influence was from a lot of pop and rock from the 80s and 90s. But as time grew, she started to be inspired by a variety of different artists.
Yes, yeah. There's this band called the Itchy Worms. Great love songs, just great melodies, great progressions. Like, it's so good, and it gets slept on. I can't lie. People need to listen to OPM music more. I went through some punk rock phase when I listened to like Blink-182, Green Day, which is super cool. Green Day's sick. But then, One Direction. I was obsessed with One Direction. But yeah, it took me a while to find the phase I'm in now.
You've also mentioned the Beatles a lot, and Elliott Smith is big for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you absolutely, in capital letters, love Pavement.
I love Pavement.
She went on to sign to Dirty Hit that had multiple artists that she was a fan of. So with that being said, she was put straight into the mainstream as a brand new artist. And with her album Fake It Flowers in 2020, she seemed that she was there to stay. During this time, I wasn't even familiar on who Beabadoobee was until early this year from one of my friends. I was reckoned to listen to the album Beatopia, and when I realized she was the same girl that made Coffee, I wasn't like, oh, it's that girl. It was more of a, oh, it's that girl. Cause honestly, I wasn't a fan of the song in the beginning. But when I listened to her album Beatopia, it was probably the best introduction I could have gotten for her music. Cause to this point, it was her most mainstream sound that she had with her pop, indie, 90s alternative rock approach. I come back to this album every week now, and the best way I can describe it to you is the ending of an early 2000s movie. nice, comfortable sound that I feel like hasn't been in the mainstream for years now. Beabadoobee now sits at 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify and is now opening for Taylor Swift on her Eras tour. She has easily become one of my favorite artists, and from the high demand of music and mainstream push, it appears that Beabadoobee is going to be loved in the music industry for a very long time.